on the road. There's a rock ledge to this whole area. You can see where the grader is scraped across this rock at some point in the past, last year actually. This is all smooth. All this material has eroded away and blown away. So again, it's got nothing to do with how the road is graded or what equipment is used. It's severity of the weather and lack of moisture that causes all our problems. Here we've got a big rock in the road, more sandy spots. This time of year, that sand really creates a problem. This road here, sometimes people think, well, if you just get all this soft stuff off of the road, then we got a hard surface to drive on. That might be true in one area. It's not necessarily true everywhere. Here, this is a hard spot. This is hard spots in here, hard spots down there. There's hard spots all through here, but there's soft material also. We can't actually just scrape all of this off like we showed you in other photos because it's the same thing underneath. The only difference between this road and a road that's harder is this road gets less traffic. So traffic can actually help our roads. If there's water in the material, but it never gets driven on, it never gets compacted. It's no different than this over here. This has got vegetation on it, but there's no difference between this material and that material. This material actually becomes better as it gets rained on and we drive on it. This photo is of value here because after we got this road nice and smooth, we turned the grader around in the road. We have to do that. And we created these furrows. It's going to take 10-15 minutes to go back and forth with this to smooth this out. The point is, it's just not good material for a road. Here we've got more hard spots and soft spots. This is going to create a pothole. Now we can fill this in. We can smooth this all out so you can't even see that. But without water, either from rain or if we bring it in, that's very expensive. This is always going to remain a soft area. You drive across it, the tire from your vehicle will cause that material to bounce out of the hole and you got a pothole. More soft spots. Again, you can't scrape this material off because when you do, you're going to find more material just like it underneath. This is down on Rosie, or actually on Azazi before you get to Rosie. It's been graded, as you can see. It's a whole lot smoother than it was, but this is always going to be a soft spot. Again, some people say, well, just cut it deeper. Well, then the road becomes a channel, and it doesn't matter because it's Swiss cheese to start with. So all we do is create more problems when we dig it deeper. More soft spots and hard spots. Then we have rains. Roads alter and interfere with drainage patterns. Heavy thunderstorm quickly scours an unprotected roadway. What does that mean, unprotected roadway? Well, if it's got no purchased gravel on it, something that actually builds the soil up so that it holds together, it's what's called an unprotected roadway. So the raindrops impact the road surface. Frost action, water, it collects in depression. Traffic softens the surface, making it easily erodible. Rain washes out many of the fine soil particles that are a critical component of the road. It's estimated that 17% of purchased gravel material is lost just due to dust in 1 year. 17% of it is lost from dust from traffic. So do the math. How many years does it take for 17% 1 year, 17% the next year, 17% the following year? Pretty soon, all your purchased material's gone. It either gets compacted into the road, scattered to the side, where hopefully we can recover it, put it back on the road. But the fine materials, which fill up all the voids between the crushed rock, are critical to holding it together. Without fines, it just scatters. Soils containing high proportions of silt and very fine sand are most erodible. Here, this happened in 2010. This is water going across the road. My assistant and I had to sit, this is the hood of my truck. We had to sit here for an hour and a half to wait for that water to go down to about a foot deep so we could cross it. Went down about a quarter mile, made a turn, went down the road here, and got stuck in the wash in about 3 feet of water. Had to spend the night there. This is down in the Rincon. Somebody back here said they were on lot 71. I think I just talked to you the other day. Your property is down this road and up in this area over here. Drainage problems are common because many of today's gravel roads evolved from cattle trails. Paths were not designed by engineers. These are commonly called camp roads, even though they may be used on a daily basis. I don't know anybody calls our roads camp roads, but that's what this document calls them. And it's true. There are many, many places on Woodland Valley where you're driving down the road and right alongside is a 2-track. And then it comes in and seems to disappear in the road. You see a ways down, it goes on the left side. Goes down a ways, and then it's on the other side. All the developer did was put a straight road through there, but it was a cattle trail originally. Two things combined to cause problems with camp roads: water and traffic. This document that I'm quoting from here doesn't really talk a lot about wind, but all you got to do is drive out to Woodland Valley, see your fifth wheel or your trailer or your house or whatever little structure you got there has got sand built up against it, or worse, it's eroded underneath partially, starting to fall over. Here we've got water on the road. This is all clay material here. You see a depression over here is full of water. Look how green things are. It's really pretty that time of year. Here we've got a culvert. There's about 10 inches of dirt there. You drive along with a heavy vehicle and cave that off. You could really do some damage to your vehicle. Thing is, the top of that road is pretty smooth. This takes a lot of time to fix. Now, some would say, well, this culvert wasn't put in properly, should have had concrete, should have had rock. That's true. That would be great, but that costs a lot of money. These are not culverts we put in. Even the culverts that we put in, we don't use concrete or rock. We do water compact them in 6-inch layers, wheel roll it back and forth. In some cases, we'll put concrete head wall on it. We did that over on Batito and Anasazi here just recently. I don't think I have a picture of it, but again, this is over on Tina's Road, going to your property. The board decided to eliminate this culvert altogether because there's just too much water goes through there. It's cheaper, but when this washes out, hopefully somebody will complain. Somebody will say, hey, this is washed out. I'll be over there immediately because I live here, or within the next couple days. But there won't be more than 4 or 5 days from the time there's a complaint about something like this before it gets fixed. And we can't be everywhere at once. I'm busy working somewhere, and this might occur in an area that I don't know about. So if we don't know it's there, we can't fix it. So we really need your help to know where these areas are. Another culvert's completely washed out, full of sand too. These culverts were put in. First United paid to have this road put in because it created a legal access for the south part of the ranch. The guy that put these in there, wasn't me, used a perforated leach field. You can actually see some holes right there and there. The whole thing is just full of holes. It's for a leach field. That should never have been put in there. But the amount of water that came through actually popped these two sections off. There's the bands, and they're downstream. There's probably about 1 inch or 2 of soil over the top of that at present. This occurred because the amount of water that came through here couldn't get through this pipe. There's actually 3 of them in this section, one here, one here, and one here. But there's such a high, and there's probably about a 3-foot difference between the wash bottom and the top of the road. But there was so much water that came through there, went over the road, and that's how that eroded. So these culverts are improperly sized. You need culverts there because you'd never get across this for maybe a month or 2 until it dried out. This is not a very good photo, but there's a big, deep depression here. It's one that Jim referred to, and there's a similar one over here. There were 3 of us in the truck touring the roads looking for problem areas that we needed to make a list of that needed to be fixed. And one of us had to stand here and the other over here and guide the driver through here because there's like 3 inches on each side of his tire. It's very dangerous. Similar, the first one I showed you is down here around the corner. But look what the monsoons do. You know, they say that this whole area would be a jungle if it just got enough water. So, unfortunately, when we do get water, the weeds just go rampant. A lot of the weeds were over the hood of my truck, some of the roads up in the north end of the ranch. More dust, more wind. We call these wind riffles. If you know anything about gold prospecting, using a sluice box, the heavy material settles behind the riffle. That's where you collect the gold from. Same principle here. The wind always blows across through here. We put these parallel ditches along the road in areas where there's high winds because all this soft stuff here will drop into the ditch here rather than deposit on the road. And this works quite well. Here you can see they're starting to fill up. This is about a week after we put them in. We just graded this section of road about 6 weeks ago. These were totally filled in. Just tiny little ripple on each side is the only evidence that they were ever there. But they do work. At least there was no blow sand on the road. This road was graded a week earlier. We had high winds. Look at all the stuff that's blown over it. Now the problem is, if it starts raining, all of this soft stuff's going to turn to goo. But it's got nothing to do with how the road was graded. Now, this particular area does not have the wind riffles I showed you in the previous photo. If it did, then this would be much less of a problem. Someone last year said that the road's been graded down to the roots. It's not true.